From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Sunday, September 2nd, 2018. Silver is trading at $14.53 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,201 per ounce. Zen is trading at $19, and the average price of Bitcoin is $7,281. Antiwar.com reports in a statement issued on Friday, the U.S. State Department has announced that the Trump administration is fully defunding the UN Relief and Works Agency, UNRWA, the body providing aid to Palestinian refugees. The administration is citing the UNRWA's recognition of in excess of 5 million Palestinian refugees and the belief that this number will continue to rise. It comes amid recent U.S. efforts to strip most Palestinians of refugee status and a demand that the UNRWA cap the number of allowed Palestinian refugees in the world to 500,000. U.S. officials say they believe this is unsustainable and that the funds provided in January will be the last funding the U.S. provides to the UNRWA. This was cheered by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who has long demanded that the UNRWA shut down outright. This is just the latest in a series of Trump administration moves to cut aid to the Palestinians. The rest of the international community does not appear to share the U.S. position, and Germany has already announced it intends to boost funding to the UNRWA to sustain aid efforts. The U.S. is withdrawing $290 million, which will be spent elsewhere by the State Department. Zencash has changed their name to Horizon to better represent their transition from a cryptocurrency to a pioneering platform that protects consumer data. They're working towards the day when anyone will be able to build privacy-based applications on the Horizon platform. The unique spelling of Horizon is a nod to their heritage and recognizes that they remain committed to the vision that their project was built upon. Their coin and ticker symbol remain ZEN. Learn more at horizon.global and join the Horizon community. HORIZEN.global. Reuters reports California's legislature passed a bill late on Friday that could help the utility Pacific Gas and Electric Company, PG&E, avoid potential crippling liabilities for wildfires that ravaged northern parts of the San Francisco Bay Area last year. The bill, passed 29-4 in the Senate and 45-10 in the state assembly, requires approval by Democratic Governor Jerry Brown. Some fires in the north of the Bay Area were caused by trees toppling into or making contact with PG&E power lines, according to a report released by state officials in June. Analysts estimate PG&E, the state's biggest utility, could face several billions of dollars in liability as a result. Democrat State Senator Bill Dodd said the bill was needed to spare customers from big increases in energy costs. He added, without it, ratepayers will be left holding the bag and communities will needlessly suffer. The fires killed 46 people in blazes across at least 245,000 acres, including subdivisions in the city of Santa Rosa. In California, utilities are responsible for fires traced to their equipment, whether or not they are complying with regulations. PG&E faces about 200 lawsuits on behalf of 2,700 plaintiffs stemming from last year's fires. If signed by the governor, this would soften that standard by having regulators determine liability based on whether equipment was reasonably maintained and operated. It would also let utilities issue bonds to help pay damages, with a surcharge on ratepayers' bills helping to cover interest payments. Critics say the legislation is a bailout, but Dodd has said another bankruptcy by PG&E could be worse for ratepayers than a surcharge on their bills. PG&E faced bankruptcy during California's energy crisis in 2001, emerging 3 years later with customers left to pay higher rates to help repay $13 billion owed to creditors. A second bankruptcy could potentially lump victims of last year's fires in with PG&E's creditors, casting uncertainty over the timing and size of recoveries. Dodd, who represents parts of Northern California hit by last year's wildfires, told Reuters, "You've got a lot of investors like hedge funds circling like vultures. What would happen to the North Bay fire victims? Consumer advocates have strongly lobbied against the bill." Reuters reported in August that PG&E hired law firm Will, Gotzel & Manges LLP to explore debt restructuring options, including breaking the firm up to let one division file for bankruptcy. PG&E said it will not be financially sustainable without changes to state policy. PG&E reported second quarter net losses of $984 million compared with net income of $406 million a year earlier. You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.